Shields up, Ironbreakers. Rurikhan here coming at you with another video. Welcome back to Monster Hunter, and today I figured it would be a good time to take a look at some older monsters that are going to be making their return in Monster Hunter World Iceborne. So we already received a couple of confirmed new monsters in the form, for instance, of Velkhana, who is going to be the flagship monster for Iceborne. We also have Banbaru, who is hands down best boy. I can't wait to craft his armor. We have Biotodus, who is extremely similar to Lavazioth and Giratodus, in my opinion. And then we also have a new variant on Legiana. Now, I've seen a lot of people be like, oh man, we're not going to get almost any new monsters in the upcoming expansions. Like, you guys do understand there's way more monsters to be revealed, right? Like, I always get so confused when people start spazzing out like this. Not only there's going to be new monsters revealed, they're going to bring all of the other monsters into the fold as well, into interesting quests. They're going to level them up. They're going to give you reason to continue to hunt some of these monsters. But there will be plenty of new content, people, relax. But at the same time, there's also some returning content from previous games in the form of monsters that we've previously fought. And by order of appearance, those monsters are Nargacuga, Tigrex, and Glavenus. Now, I went ahead into Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate and got my ass beat by all of these monsters just so that I could show you guys some footage as to how their fights go. Because I figured it would be a good time for you guys to just take a look at what it used to be like fighting these guys in the older Monster Hunter games, because I realized that not everybody has played the older Monster Hunter games. Not everybody is interested in playing the older Monster Hunter games. You guys got in with World and you're more interested in what is coming for Iceborne. I still enjoy the older games, and as such, I figured, you know what, let's get in there, let's get our asses kicked, because I know that my gear is not really super up to snuff in GU, because I haven't really farmed as hardcore as I did for Monster Hunter World, but at the same time, it was still a good time to go back in. So, when it came to Nargacuga's fight took a very long time, particularly because I forgot to optimize the element of my weapon, so that could have potentially lengthened the fight. I think it took me upwards of 20 minutes to beat him, so that's quite a long hunt. But back in the day, hunts used to take a little bit longer than they take in World. Stuff used to be a little bit harder, or maybe I just never was as good in the older games as I ended up being in World, or whatever. But either way, the Nargacuga fight was very, very interesting. Close to the end, he was just flying all over the place. It's like we'd get to a new area, I would get to him, smack him once, and he would instantly peace out. We would get to the next area, I would smack him once, he would peace out again. I was like, dude, stop friggin' trolling me. I'm running all over the map looking for you, Nargacuga. One of the coolest things about the Nargacuga fight has to be the stance that he takes during the fight, in which he positions his wings / talons, which are essentially blades, in a way that it seems like he's always ready to hit you with the tail, because the tail's always arcing upwards, just ready to spike at you at a moment's notice. And the really cool thing is that not only he spikes you with the tail multiple times, but at the same time he also does this tail slam attack where he just like 180s and suddenly you're smashed by the tail directly in the face, and you're just like, Jesus Christ, where the hell did that come from? Because the reach of the tail is deceptively long and it just looks really cool. The fact that the tail also has spikes is a nice detail, because the spikes start protruding whenever he enrages or whenever he gets ready to shoot projectiles from his tail, because he can shoot the spikes out of his tail. He can rattle it kind of like a rattlesnake, which is pretty cool as well. And his eyes have that red glow that leaves the trails of red as he moves through the battlefield while he is enraged. It just looks like a really, really cool monster, and I think anyone can understand why this particular creature is one of the fan favorites. Now, I never really crafted its armor because I never made it that far in GU, so I can't really show you guys the armor or the weapons or anything of that nature. I can tell you, however, if you are using a weapon that is good with elements, definitely bring lightning. Don't do what I did. I brought water and it extended the fight way more than it really needed to be. So next up, let's talk about the Tigrex. Damn, this was actually one of the fights that was part of my progression fights currently in GU. So my gear was most definitely not up to snuff. As a matter of fact, the first time that I did the quest, I actually fainted 3 times, and I was like, Jesus Christ. Then again, I also forgot that I was fighting in the snow and that I actually needed to bring hot potions. Therefore, I didn't actually bring any hot potions, and I ended up having a stamina penalty throughout the entirety of the fight. That is something that we'll definitely need to remind ourselves, although in Monster Hunter World Iceborne, they're going to be a little bit more forgiving, and they're going to allow you to collect the materials needed to get the potions on site, but naturally in GU, that was not the case. Now, the Tigrex looks pretty damn cool. Naturally, you guys look at his skeleton, you look at the Nargacuga skeleton, and you guys are like, oh, it looks kind of like the same skeleton, but trust me, the movesets are completely different. The Tigrex is a much more savage type of monster. He just like starts running all over the place, and you can really see him get momentum, and it's just a really cool monster that just keeps charging at you no matter what. And the other key thing about Tigrex is that his roar actually damages you. It doesn't just stagger you, it also damages you. And it does so significantly if he happens to be enraged, which, by the way, if you see that Tigrex enraged, you better get the hell out of the way, because he will trample the crap out of you. I got wombo comboed more than once. Like, it's just completely insane the amount of damage that this beast of worth can dish out. And in the unlikely event that he's not able to catch up to you, no worries, because he also has a ranged attack in the fact that he can basically carve stones from the ground and throw them at you. Or in my case, these are stones made of ice, which also give you ice blight, which again, very annoying because your stamina gets penalized and then you can't dodge appropriately. Like, E is a very savage, very feral creature that is just going to keep coming at you until you either put it out of its misery or it puts you out of your misery. So, you know, it's all about that brutal aggression. That is the Tigrex. And yeah, it was nice to actually get into a fight that was a progression fight. Another really cool thing about the Tigrex is that when he enrages, he actually starts pumping blood towards his face and his forelimbs, so it looks like he's glowing bright red. I believe that is more of an intimidation tactic, but either way, when he does it, he's going to start dishing out a lot more deeps, so you better be careful about that. And finally, the last one to be teased was Glavenus, which was teased in the latest story trailer for Monster Hunter World Iceborne, and he is basically a fire-breathing T-Rex with a tail that looks like a friggin' blade, which he can then heat up by putting the tail in its mouth and like scraping his teeth through the tail, heating it up, and attack you with it. That tail can actually exist in 3 different states. It can be sharpened, it can be heated, or it can be blunt, and it's going to deal different types of damage, and it is actually really cool to see this monster use his tail to slam down on you. It's particularly cool whenever you see him put the tail in his mouth to heat it up and then attack you with it. It's very, very cool design for a monster, at least in my opinion. And the cool thing is that his armor also looks pretty damn sweet. His weapons look pretty damn sweet, even though I haven't really crafted those yet. I did craft his weapon. I crafted his sword and shield, which is actually one of the better sword and shields in Monster Hunter Generations, if I'm not mistaken. But again, I'm a bit of a noob when it comes to Generations, so, you know, bear with me. But either way, this was a really cool fight to come back to, because I had already fought this one a bunch of times. I did not fight Nargacuga and Tigrex nearly as much because I did farm this guy in order to craft his sword and shield, so his moveset, I was more familiar with it. And one of the cool things about it is the way in which he shows up, which in Generations, for those of you that did not play Generations, basically they give you a quest where it's like, oh yeah, we need you to go pick up some mushrooms. Like, that's the quest that they give you to introduce Glavenus. They're like, oh yeah, we just need you to go over here and pick up some mushrooms. And then when you get to the place where you're supposed to pick up the mushrooms, Glavenus shows up and you're like, oh my god, it's the end. Like, the handler starts panicking. Is like, Jesus Christ, what the hell is that? Run! It's a really cool introduction, and I think that he is a really cool monster. And like I mentioned previously, he is one of the Fated Four. He is probably the flashier one of the Fated Four. His element, as you can clearly see, is fire. The other Fated Four are lightning, water, and ice. Gammoth being the ice one, who looks kind of like a mammoth. You also have Mizotsune, which looks like this water dragon's fires bubbles at you. He's actually kind of cool, but I don't know if they are going to show up on Monster Hunter World Iceborne or not. I wish they did. Beyond Gammoth and Mizotsune, there's also Astalos. I actually crafted the entirety of the Astalos set, if I'm not mistaken, back in Generations, because I liked the skills that came with it. I don't remember, like, at this point, now that I know way more about Monster Hunter than I did back then, I don't actually know if it was that meta, but I just thought, oh, you know, these skills look all right for the weapons that I use. So I crafted his entire set, and I also crafted his weapon. So yeah, I actually farmed the crap out of Astalos, more so than any of the other Fated 4. But, you know, it's just one of those things. Whenever you see a monster like Glavenus, and you see that he is a part of a group of monsters, you're just like, please put all of them in. Because you want as many monsters as possible in your next Monster Hunter expansion, right? That is the objective at the end of the day. Whether or not that is going to be the case remains to be seen, but either way, Glavenus, one hell of a monster. I am super happy they're bringing him in. I'm probably going to be crafting his sword and shield for fire damage because I'm not a huge fan of Anjanath's sword and shield, so I definitely want to craft this guy's sword and shield. I hope they also bring in Braki. I think that'd be really cool because you guys know I'm a big fan of the blast element, even though I know it's not that meta, but I just like the explosions, and I would very much like to craft Braki's sword and shield. Maybe even his gun lance, depending on the shelling type that he's got. If he does show up. Now, all of a sudden I'm just talking about, oh dude, Braki's gonna show up, and it's like, it's not even confirmed. I just don't know. Anyway, these three that I've shown you here, Nargacuga, Tigrex, Glavenus, are definitely going to be showing up in Monster Hunter World, and I'm very curious to know which of these three did you like the most from this video. Let me know in the comment section down below. Are you Team Tigrex, Team Nargacuga, Team Glavenus? Let me know in the comment section down below. Thank you all very much for watching. If you guys enjoyed this video, hit it up with a like. If you are new here and you like my content, consider subscribing. Hit the bell notification icon, all of that good stuff. Stay strong, and may your shields never break.